Hi everyone out there in YouTube land. This is Debbie with artbydebbie.com, and I'm here to show you a few of the projects that I've been doing very recently here the last couple days. And this first one is, you're looking at a cover of a mini book that I'm doing, and the reason I'm sharing this with you is because of the corrugated cardboard that I'm using for the cover. And if I flip this over, you can see what it looked like before I tore off this top layer of paper. And once you tear that off, then you get this look. And, whoops, excuse me. And I like the distressed, old, vintagey look to things. Grungy is a good word, too. And speaking of that, I do have Tim Holtz. I think these are called sprockets. They're metal. And I love working with these. And all I've done is just created the corner embellishment out of those. And what you're looking at on the side here with this ribbon is kind of a window pane type ribbon. And how I attached it, because adhesives I found were just too difficult to work with this particular ribbon. So what I did was, if you can see, let me back that up a little bit. There we go. I think you can see the staple on the side here. I just stapled it on. And I made a pocket out of it. So what I'll do is put a tag underneath here, or a few of them, to finish off the cover. And I'm going to put some color on this as well. And whoops, if I can get it in the camera, sorry. So I just wanted to encourage all of you out there, when you get cardboard with packaging, and I mean, we just seem to be drowned in it sometimes, you can recycle it and use it in your craft projects. And the next idea that I wanted to share with you, or some projects, using along the same lines, using that same corrugated cardboard, I've made this little piece here that's going to go into an album eventually. And very simply, all I did was apply alcohol ink to this cardboard, and it gave it that drippy, kind of wet kind of look to it. And at the top I used a bottle cap, and inside of it, it was a wooden alphabet letter that was self-adhesive on the back side. All I did was alcohol inked a little bit on the bottle cap. I alcohol inked the top of the wooden Y in this case, and then what I did was I filled up the rest of the bottle cap with this multi-media liquid embossing. It's by Plaid. Let's see if you can get this. You can see it better. There we go. And I love this stuff. It's really pretty easy to work with. Diamond accents and stuff, I have trouble with that. I don't know why. Most of the rest of you don't, I'm sure. But that product is hard for me in particular to use. So I do like this multi-media. I've had it a really long time though, and I haven't seen it around lately. So I'm not sure if they even make it anymore. I sure hope they do, because I really do like it. And it just gave it that glossy, kind of epoxy kind of look to it. And on the side here, this little ticket, I just stamped that on cardstock. It's my favorite stamp that I'm using right now. Turn it around so you can see it. And it's done by Stamp Happens Ink Graphics is the company that makes this one. And I love this little stamp. And I found it at, I think it was Big Lots for 50 cents, I believe it was. Really, really excellent deal. So of course I couldn't resist it, and I just love it. And I just cut it out with I have some decorative edge scissors on the ends. Just cut it out with those, and then kept the edges straight. And they do look like those tickets, and it's a lot cheaper to do that on cardstock, and you can have them any color you want. And I just love the versatility of that. And this grungy cardboard, the corrugated look to this cardboard, is one of my faves right now. I'm a mixed media artist, and I enjoy the vintage ephemera. The older and tattered, the better. As far as I'm concerned, that's my style. So on to the next one. Along the same line as that is this tag that I made. And again, it's the corrugated cardboard, except with this one, I used, let me grab it real quick, it's right next to me here. I used this, and this bottle's a mess, I've had it for a long time. It's Liquitex Colored Acrylic Gesso, and this is Burnt Umber. I love this stuff. I've had it a long time, and I've used it quite a bit, and it's really an excellent way of distressing things, and it dries, because it's gesso, it dries really fast. And that's important to me since, you know, I do so much of this, I have to keep moving on. So the blue that you're seeing, that I just went over it with a Broken China Distress Ink Pad by Ranger. And again, here's another one of those tickets in the corner. And what I did here to decorate the ticket was punched out some little stars with this little star punch. Whoops, excuse me. Oh, there we go. I think it was by Paper Mania. I can't remember exactly the brand name. They were on clearance and a couple of them were broken. But the ones that work really well, and this little star is one of my favorites. So I decorated the corner of the ticket with the star punch. And then this butterfly that you're seeing, I used the Tim Holtz Lost and Found paper collection. And there's a piece of paper in that collection that looks like a watercolor. It's just gorgeous. All florals and such. And I used that paper to cut this butterfly out with. And it's one of my favorite butterflies. It's on the Potpourri cartridge that I got with my machine, because I got it on eBay, and it was a Home Shopping Network package, and in that package was that Potpourri cartridge. And ladies, if you can get a hold of that cartridge, I highly recommend it. It is a fabulous cartridge. It's so there's so many shapes, and it's so involved that it takes 2 overlays with that cartridge. So I was very pleased about that. It sure made the price of the whole thing a better deal, actually. And on with explaining what I've done here is in the corner, I've used a little branch punch that I have by McGill. And that's one of my favorite punch companies. Let me get it in the camera. Sorry, I'm new at the camera thing here. I'll get better, hopefully. And I used 3 of these. I punched it out 3 times on double-sided paper, and I just created this embellishment for the corner. And the little, I believe those are maple leaves that you're looking at, is another one of these little punches. And only it was a maple leaf. And I just love those little punches. They make things really fast, and so again, I can keep moving on. And at the top, what I've done here is just real simply, just took a piece of regular household white string, if I can get it in the camera. White on white doesn't work too well. There we go. Maybe you can see it better. Just string. You can get it from the hardware store or even the grocery store. And I just took my Tim Holtz applicator with alcohol ink on it, and just dabbed it on there with the alcohol. And that's another tip also for the alcohol inks, for all of you ladies that use alcohol inks. I don't know about you, but I fly through that blending solution. It just does not last me very long at all. So what I've done is I've switched to this spray bottle. It's a pretty tall bottle. I keep a lot of it on hand. And I just filled it simply with rubbing alcohol. And it works pretty well. I haven't seen a big difference in using that and the blending solution. So those of you ladies on a budget that you know, are like me and you use it so much that you go through that blending solution fast, that is an alternative, and it is a lot more economical. So there's a little tip for you there. And also, I did start another little book last night. I was inspired by the Tim Holtz Lost and Found collection. Because of how vintagey it looks. And so this little strip here inspired me to do a little book. And, oops, I can get it around, sorry. There we go. That's the cover of the book. It's not together yet because I just got this started last night. But I wanted to point out a few things that I did with this cover. And this is just simply black cardstock that I cut, you know, in a strip. And then for decorating the cover, what I've used is, again, that Admit One ticket stamp, and I covered the center with one of those magnetic poetry words, which I use a lot of, as you can see from this cover. And let me just show you real quick what that looks like. You get them in different sets, but I collect these. I just love these things. For mixed media work, they're really fun to work with. And also another tip along those lines with that magnetic poetry is we're always trying to think of ways, clever ways of storing all of this stuff that we need. And it occurred to me one day that I have several of these metal rulers. And if you have a metal ruler, these magnetic words stick to it beautifully. And this ruler has a hole at the top, and I have a cork board just right above my workstation here, and I just put a push pin in the cork board and just hang it up there. So when I want a word, I just grab it, and I've loaded this with some favorite words that I think I would use on my projects. So that's a neat little storage idea there for those. And as I use them, I just keep filling it up with words out of these sets. And you can find these at yard sales, and some people have them in bags, and I grab them whenever I see them because I just enjoy using them so much. And also another feature of this cover I wanted to point out is this little black paper flower. What I did with that is I used a little scallop punch and punched 3 out, and then I gathered it together, made my flower, and then I coated it, I coated it with this multi-media liquid embossing. This one is the licorice opaque. And what it did was it turned it into it looks like a black lacquer flower. And I really liked the way that looked on this particular cover especially. And then this little red gem here is just a little piece of bling that I've had around for a long, long time. And then over here in the corner is just a little punched butterfly that I went over the top of it with some more of this liquid embossing. And this is the antique glass finish. And then I've used, of course, some more of these magnetic words. And this little tag here, I cut that on my Cricut with, it's called Coordinations cardstock, and it's got a different colored core inside. It's all black on the outside. And then if you just sand the edges or the top, whichever part you want to reveal the color of that core, it just pops out. And I just love using that stuff. It works so well for giving it a nice edge, and it works real fast as well. And of course, again, need to move on, so got to do it fast. And here's a little star up in the corner that's made of that same cardstock, and that was just punched out with a little punch that I've got. And then the inside pages are just simply strips. These are the back side of them. Here's one. Move that back so you can see it. And I just used the paper out of the Tim Holtz Lost and Found collection. Some of these little pages are real little, and some of them are longer. There's just plain black cardstock, and I obviously haven't done this yet. I just got this put together last night, but here's the back cover. And I just used my Cricut to cut out this label, and then just adhered it down with some more of this liquid embossing. This is a really good adhesive as well.